Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the Here and Queer podcast. I'm your host, Christina Smith. Tonight's topic is on companies and the media and how they handle LGBTQ Pride Month. With the increased recognition of Pride and LGBTQ people, more companies are starting to market towards the LGBTQ community during the month of June. However, I want to expose the downfall of this increased exposure. This downfall being that many of these companies only show support for LGBTQ individuals during Pride Month by slapping a rainbow on some of their products and creating a Pride collection, or like saying Happy Pride on their social media accounts. I enjoy the thought of actually having a genuine Pride collection, but when it seems to only be for profit is when it must be addressed. Within the social media realm, you can see several examples of people seeing through this facade. One I want to highlight from the article on Petty Mayonnaise, and it's actually a tweet I saw on my own Twitter, is Netflix Pride Month ad that says Rainbow's the new black. And this edited one says Rainbow's a new marketing strategy, as you can see here. And here you can see that people are actually using other memes as well to highlight their dissatisfaction with these companies, popping up during June, slapping a rainbow on some things and, trying to support the community in a way that's kind of a made up emotion, because other than that, where are these companies at? But this article, Brands Celebrating Pride by Giving Back to the LGBTQ Community from Huffington Post, actually showed brands that are actually giving back to the community. It was 12 brands, and I highlight American Eagle, Gap, and Sephora products right here. And for example, American Eagle is giving 100% of their sales to benefit the It Gets Better project. And then like Sephora is creating a limited edition lipstick, and each dollar from the sale of lipstick will support LGBTQ organizations. And then they're also offering a bold beauty class that will cater to the transgender community. So that's the type of, support I'm talking about, actually helping the community. And then you could also see that Sonia Thompson, in her article, the biggest mistakes brands make with Pride Month campaigns is that before your company gets caught up in the euphoria of Pride fever, make sure you're not committing the cardinal rule of engaging with the marginalized community. Showing up only during a celebration for such a month, in this case Pride Month, with superficial show of support. Which these brands are actually showing more than superficial support, as they're giving the sales to organizations and helping out in that way. And then we can also see that Sam Jones in this article gave 4 ways to actually support the queer community year round. And he offered things such as, attending Pride events, supporting queer businesses, celebrating queer artists, volunteering at queer advocacy groups. And that will actually show that you're you don't even have to be in the community. You actually are just an ally. You actually care. It's not just for profit. And then that's another thing that was a little astounding with me, is that Google is actually one of the companies that, try to show support for Pride Month, but in their own internal company, they're having problems with their LGBTQ employees because they're not actually listening to them. So, the recent stuff with Steven Crowder, being on that platform, being a conservative, they said that one employee that talked to The Verge in this article said that the internal outreach to executives have not been effective in years at all, and they completely ignore us unless there's extreme unrest. We can't trust them anymore to listen in good faith. So you have your own LGBTQ companies, employees that are actually in stress in your company. And, I saw, this is why I'm like bringing up Google, because I was on my Twitter, and the YouTube's, I'm going to show it right here. Their Twitter icon is rainbow. and you have, people in your actual company that aren't feeling comfortable, and yet you're trying to, show pride. And then they also tweeted about Stonewall. I'll include that tweet right here as well. Tweet about Stonewall and everything like that. But it's like, what point will you actually take a look and say, you know what, we should change our policies? Because a lot of LGBTQ creators get flagged and their videos get restricted for even mentioning words, gay, lesbian, or bisexual, and it doesn't even have sexual content at all in it. And they're like demonetizing them. So that's why, that's one of the main companies that I research and looked at and think of one, that I interact with, because I'm always on YouTube watching gaming videos and cooking videos, that needs to, change their year-round look of the LGBTQ community, not just during Pride Month. And once they actually, show that, that's when we can be like, okay, they actually genuinely care. Because other than that, there is no way of actually knowing that. And I'm hoping that with Pride Month ending in a few days, that they'll actually, consider and genuinely consider supporting this community for the rest of 2019 and not just June. But as always, I am Christina Smith, and this was your evening broadcast of Here and Queer. Have a great night and happy Pride Month.